ESPN3. You can watch Florida International against Bridgewater and Louisville. He's got a touchdown pass for 15 straight on Scout Inc.'s draft board. He's still number 2 behind Jadeveon Clowney, but the Heisman poll pundit guys were not that impressed with a workmanlike victory over Kentucky. The standards are so high, the expectations for the stats so monstrous that Bridgewater, when he just is okay, doesn't impress people. So Florida International, Tom, a chance to throw up those gaudy numbers because this guy has high expectations for himself as well.
Well, Chris, one of Teddy Bridgewater's few pedestrian games came against FIU last season. A couple of touchdowns, a couple of interceptions, less than 200 yards passing. But there's very little about Bridgewater's play or his path, which is pedestrian. Known as much for his toughness as his talent, it turns out Teddy Bridgewater's strength is an inherited trait.
Before he was a player or a leader, a team's heart or an offense's engine, Teddy Bridgewater had his first position in prime role. He was a son, and his mother taught him his first lesson, to give all his heart, all his effort, all the time.
The reason why Teddy is the way he is, you have to beat the mom. Because the mom, when you look at Teddy Bridgewater, Rose is the reason why Teddy is who he is.
Growing up in the Liberty City section of Miami, sports have always been purpose and path for Teddy, and a constant connection between mother and son.
Where we're from, not too many parents are involved in their kids' life, whether it's through football, basketball, or in school. And she always stayed on top of me, and that right there meant the most to me.
The more you interact with your child and you let your child see that you're supporting them, that goes a long way, because a lot of parents would just drop their kids off.
In 2007, when Teddy was an 8th grader, Rose was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I didn't really know what breast cancer was, and I just thought it was some deadly disease or something, and I thought maybe her life would be ended early or something.
Teddy was just looking at me like in disbelief, like, what are we gonna do?
The disease threatened Rose's life and challenged Teddy's will. An emerging star as a freshman at Northwestern High School in Miami, he spent his time helping his single mother through cancer treatments and began turning away from his teams and his games.
I wanted to be there for her, I would stop playing ball, stop going to school, and if I had to work, get a job, and just be the man of the house.
Why did you feel compelled to do it?
Because, I felt that I had a purpose in life, and at the time I felt that my purpose was, to protect my mom and, be her Superman, the one that she never had.
And he was like, Mom, I don't want to play football anymore. And I said, no, you have to play. You can't give up. God has given you a gift, and you have to use it to the best of your ability. I said, you don't worry about me. I said, I'm going to be okay.
Mother knew, and son listened.
Bridgewater, under pressure, throws the end zone, touchdown!
By the time Teddy was a junior at Northwestern, he was one of the country's most coveted offensive recruits.
Bridgewater, has some room.
Now finished with chemotherapy, radiation, Rose rarely missed a moment.
Even though she was diagnosed with breast cancer, she would still attend my games. Even if she had to leave early, if she could only stay for 1 quarter, she would come just to show her face.
I wanted to show him that I wasn't giving up. I always tell him cancer's a giant, and giants do fall. And it was just a matter of time before that giant fell.
It just motivated me. It gave me that drive, that if I quit now, I'll be quitting on her. I'll be quitting on life. So, I kept playing ball, kept going to school, and I ended up here.
With a survivor's spirit and his son's will, Bridgewater capped the 2012 regular season with a defining performance of his Cardinals' career.
Touchdown!
Playing with a fractured wrist and 1 useful ankle.
He could have very easily sat on the bench that night, Tom, and said, hey, I can't do it. But he knew that the team needed him, and we wanted to get to a BCS bowl game. Oh, man, it's awesome.
At the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Bridgewater helped Louisville dominate the 3rd-ranked game.
Bridgewater wants to make the pay. Touchdown, Davian Coughlin.
And as always, Mom didn't miss a snap.
Bridgewater, he's thrown 2 touchdown passes today. make it three.
And likely won't miss one this season either, as her son raises hopes for a Heisman.
He always say I'm his #1 fan, but he was my #1 fan, and I got my inspiration from him. He was my hero, and he still is my hero.
What makes you most proud of your mom?
Just her fight, her determination. It makes me the person I am today. You know, she was determined to beat breast cancer, and I'm determined to be successful in life.
Rose plans to be there today to see Teddy and the Cardinals play. We're happy to say that her cancer remains in remission. As for her son, he spent part of the summer in South Florida working on his stamina and his footwork, Chris, in a boxing ring. It turns out that both mom and son are fighters.
Tom, well said. We've seen the toughness of Bridgewater on display, and his numbers are good. I mean, 346 yards per game. The QBR, the rating, much better than a guy like Manziel. But Kirky hasn't been flashy, and people expect so much of this guy.
Well, they have high expectations, and when you play in this conference, you're expected to win. And Louisville's a team is expected to blow teams out like FIU, and Teddy Bridgewater is expected to have a QBR close to 100 when he plays these kind of opponents. And when those are the expectations, makes it very tough.
That's perfect, 100. So it's got to be almost perfect against FIU.
Mid-90s.
Yeah. He gets very few chances to prove it against big-name defenses.
That's right.
Coming up